Welcome to episode 3, season 1 of The Orange Juice, the podcast all about Orange, New South Wales, where we unpack the people, the stories and the events shaping our region. Today, I'm really chuffed to have a guest on the podcast who has made his stamp on Orange since moving here, Mr. Jeremy Norris of Byng Street store fame. Good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning, Kyle. Thank you for having me.
How was that intro?
That was pretty good, actually. Very good.
Have you had an intro like that recently?
I reckon that's probably one of the first.
Excellent. I'm going to dive right into Byng Street store because it would be impossible to have a conversation with you about Orange that didn't involve this now iconic cafe that you crafted. What drew you to Orange?
I just come back from 11 years overseas. So chuffed off to Scotland in 1999 for a year. Came back 11 years later. And I was living in Yamba at that time. It got voted best place to live in Australia. We weren't sure where we wanted to live. So we moved to Yamba for 6 months and I was sort of having a bit of time off there and defrosting from Scotland, 11 years in Scotland. Then we shifted up to Noosa and I was running a little restaurant up there on the beach, which was good fun. And my sister rang me. She and her husband had just moved to Millthorpe and they rang and said, come and check Orange out. I think it was Food Week, perhaps.
That's a good time to be sold Orange.
Great time to be here. So we came down and Sarah and JJ took us out to the convent to Josie Chapman's event, whenever that was, in 2009 it must have been. And we loved it. So we sort of packed up our bags. At that point, Byng Street, the actual building was for sale. It was a nail salon. You could get I think it was predominantly a nail salon. It was a bit run down. Anyway, it was for sale. It was pretty cheap. So we put an offer in, went back to Noosa and we just waited and we actually missed the first offer. So someone else snapped it up before us and then luckily the finance fell through. We had another shot at it. Okay. And then that was it. We moved down and I just had an epiphany that we were going to do it started with a little delicatessen that was going to have coffee. And I'd heard about all pressed coffee. I'd been drinking a bit of all pressed coffee in Noosa, and that was it. We moved down and I sort of took on a renovation myself. As you might remember, it was a very small shop when it first opened.
Yes.
And I'll never forget the days we opened the door. Everyone was sort of saying, it's not going to work if it's not on the main street. But the day we opened the doors, there was people lined up to get in and I was on the coffee machine with a couple of dental students at that time just going, what's going on here?
And the rest, as they say, is history.
The rest is history.
Now you're out of space. You've pushed
space.
to the boundaries.
Yep, we've got great people around us doing everything and it's really good. But it's been a fabulous journey.
Orange is better for it, mate, I can tell you now.
Thank you.
We'll circle back around to your Orange journey and more about you. But first, we're going to do the McGrath Minute. McGrath are, of course, one of the sponsors of the podcast, and we just do a rapid-fire set of questions. So off the top of the head,
great.
The first one is phenomenally easy for you to answer. If you get this wrong, I'm calling the whole thing off. Coffee or wine?
I'm going to say coffee.
Yeah, fair call.
I'm having a bit of a break off coffee at the moment. I do it once every year, just as a bit of a detox, because sometimes I walk into one of the cafes and the staff always have something for me. So sometimes I'm having 6 a day. So there comes a point every year where I sort of have a bit of time off. So
now don't go to Frank Zappa's level.
No,
he was doing 40 a day, and I think it killed him.
Oh no, I won't be going there. So I'm on the turmeric lattes at the moment, which I quite enjoy.
Beautiful.
With a touch of honey, very good.
Well, that was a really easy question. The next one is almost as easy, but then very hard for you because we ask our guests on the podcast what's their favourite local eatery. I guess that's a hard one for you to answer. So you could just say your favourite one this week or one that comes to mind.
One that comes to mind, well, Byng Street's good. If we've got the kids, we go to Sushi King.
Right.
The kids love Sushi King. We probably go there at least once a week. But we love going to Rowley, been to the new wine room, which is great. There's a few in town, but but there's a few around town that are exceptional, so it's good.
We're pretty spoilt for choice here, right?
We are spoilt for
choice. That's why it's a question on the podcast.
And obviously we've got a new one opening hopefully in a few months downstairs here at the Quest, which will be Monty's, which
very
is
exciting.
Named after my little boy Monty, who's 9 years old, but we're excited about that as well.
We'll get him on the coffee machine?
Probably get him on the dishes first.
Who's your local hero?
There's a guy in town that I'm always inspired by and I really enjoy his company. He's a quirky cat. We always have a big hug when I see him at Byng Street, and it's Philip Shaw.
Oh, wow.
He makes some exceptional wines. He's had an unbelievable career.
Yeah.
well respected and well known in the wine industry all over the world. He'd be my local hero, I think.
I'm glad you said that. Philip's an amazing character. He has brought a lot to Orange, not just with his name and his brand, but with his energy. Sometimes we have to pinch ourselves in Orange at the level of talent that's here in all sorts of industries. But to have Philip Shaw here and make this his home, very, very good answer, mate. I'm glad you said that.
You should get him in for a podcast. He'd be great.
Oh, he's on the list, don't worry.
That'd be really good.
Your favourite memory, and we've got so many of Orange, all of us. Maybe I ask people to just think about when you're away from Orange, what do you miss, or what's your favourite memory here that just always comes back to you?
Opening Byng Street was a big one, obviously, but I think there was. I remember when my wife and we sort of went through a bit of a roller coaster to have kids, and there was a bit of IVF involved in that.
Yep.
And we came back from Sydney, and I walked into Byng Street, and the staff had all put blue balloons up and said it's a boy. And for me,
they did a reveal for you.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It was pretty cool.
That is
and
cool.
And it was very hit home pretty hard. So
absolutely,
it was a lovely. Yeah, it was good.
Well, look, the birth of your my 3 kids were all born in Orange, and they are all beautiful memories. Absolutely. Good
Doesn't
call.
happen that often, so it's one of life's special ones.
Absolutely, that's a great memory. Your business and a lot of the people that you rub shoulders with on a daily basis, and I know you're on the board of Orange 360 as well, tourism is in your blood. But when you take that hat off and you take the Byng Street hat off, what's your favourite thing for you guys to do as locals?
That's a tough one because we're sort of the hat's always on.
That's exactly what Amy said.
I think when you're in the industry, it's hard to sort of get at because you're always on the go, especially when we've got a few staff and a few venues and time doesn't really stand still much. But we've got a little farm just out at Boronor, and we love having picnics in the paddocks with the kids, go and cook a few snags on the barbie, like in the paddock, and then there's always marshmallows at the end of that. That's fun. And if we've got time, in summer we love going out to Wyangler Dam and going for a ski. Just teaching the kids to ski is good fun, and
great.
Watching them grow up. And
well, that's good you say Wyangler. I mean, one of the things I love about Orange is the satellite trips that you can do to a lot of the dams. And it's a full day.
Yeah, 100%.
But that's nice to explore the villages.
We went there a lot as kids. I grew up in Young, so we'd often go camping at Wyangler, so it was good to get back there. I hadn't been there when we first went there last year as a family. I think it had been 40 years. I was like, wow. And I remembered the exactly same spot where we used to go, so it was good.
Well, completely unscripted. Thank you so much for the segue, because I was just about to move into Jeremy Norris, the person. We know you as Jeremy Norris from Byng Street Store, but you've just told me you grew up in Young, and I didn't know that.
There you
go. It was my next question. Yep. Where did you grow up?
Born in Young. So Young's a little town only 2.5, 3 hours from here, southwest. And born in Young Hospital, 1974. And Dad was running farms, a big farm out near Stock and Bingle. So Stock and Bingle's a tiny little town out near Wollongbean, and Dad was running a big property out there for some good mates of ours. And we sort of grew up on farm, had a great childhood out there. It was a big farm, so that was it. School, went to Young Public School and had the first sort of 15 years of schooling there. And then we moved to Albury when I was 15 and finished school there.
Is that right?
Left year 12. Didn't like school. Had a couple of years at boarding school, which just ruined my whole school career.
Okay.
So as soon as year 12 was done, I was gone. So straight up to North Queensland into Cairns and working in big hotels up there. And that's where I think my hospitality career sort of kicked off. Okay.
Well, I've learned something today, because we've known each other, on the high side of 15 years, and I actually thought you might have grown up in Sydney.
Well, there you go.
So there you go.
I rented a house from you for a while.
You did. There's another connection.
A shearing shed.
I know.
Great shearing shed.
And that's there's another thing I love about Orange. You know, we've discussed this on the podcast a couple of times. It is just such a community where you'll have a business relationship with someone, a personal relationship with someone. They might be your tenant, or they might be your best friend, or they might be the guy that pours your coffee. But it's what I love about country towns, and I guess that's what drew you here as well, although you grew up in a country town. So
grew up in a country town. Small communities, they're great.
Small communities are great, unreal. And so there was obviously some time in metro areas to get that hospitality experience. You don't craft a store like Byng Street Store and the other and the other cafes and restaurants
No.
you've done without some pretty serious runs on the board. I think a lot of people feel you lifted the bar here when you came.
Oh, that's nice to know. But I think, I was quite young and naive when I went up to Cairns and sort of got the basics up there, and then worked in some very much fine dining restaurants in Sydney, and then decided I needed a break from hospitality. So me and my brother and a few mates ventured over to Kalgoorlie which was interesting. I think when I was about 22, worked on a drill rig there for a few years, which was, I think that gave me my work ethic, because it was 7 days a week, long days, and if you didn't turn up, they just fired you and found someone else.
Yep.
And I, a couple of years in Kalgoorlie, and then ended up in Perth, and back into restaurants there in a big way. A guy I worked for down there owned Fraser's restaurant up in Kings Park, and he's a mentor still today. I still talk to him, Chris Taylor, fabulous chef. He's a real ambassador for Western Australian food, and we're still mates. It's good. I caught up with him in Perth last year, went out for dinner, and I talked to him on a semi-regular basis. I was talking to him the other day about some ideas for downstairs at Monty's about printing daily menus and stuff like that. But I think, that time and that experience has sort of given me the tools to do what I've done here in Orange. And I see hospitality, I say to my staff, I see it as a show and a stage, and the staff are the guys, when a customer comes in, they're the customer in the audience. We're all on stage doing a show, and people have got to leave thinking they've seen a great show. And
what a fantastic way to view it.
That's the way
you've segued me again, because I was going to ask you, what do you think makes a great hospitality experience? And that doesn't just mean here in Orange, but when we travel as tourists or when we travel as foodies, as many people do, what is it that makes a great experience? You've just said it's like theatre for you guys.
Like
That's
theatre,
what you teach your team.
And I'm a pretty tough critic when it comes to hospitality and restaurants, and I'm always looking, and I know what I like, and it all comes down to service, and the service is that's the bit that's free. Like, I think if you go to a restaurant and you have an amazing meal with great service, and even if the food's not quite on point, if the service is great and your experience is great, you'll come back. But if you go there and have amazing food but the service is terrible, done, not coming back.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's got to all come together
flow,
in tandem, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's a family connection with hospitality and you in Orange, because your sister Sarah also owns and operates Spilt Milk, which has become an absolute icon for this town again. So that must be really nice, working alongside a sibling.
It's amazing.
Separate businesses, but a couple of blocks away, and you're both doing such amazing things.
No, it's great. We were down in Sydney the other day at the big food expo that's on at the moment, and we're always bouncing ideas off each other. My brother Huey, he's down in Berry. He's very foodie, but he followed the footsteps of my both grandfathers. He's a lawyer, but serious foodie. Him and his wife are, they're all about food. They've got gardens that I'm envious of. And I sort of, I did a lot of cooking over in Scotland as well, but I've lost the passion for the kitchen a bit. I'm hoping it might come back one day, but front of house is for me.
Look, I briefly owned a restaurant.
Did you?
For nearly 2 years in Mudgee, Rott's Wine Bar.
Oh, I know.
And I still, when I reflect on that time, I have one thing to say about it. It was the funnest way to tear up money I've ever known.
It's easy.
And, without going into the nitty gritty, there are ups and downs in hospitality. It didn't come naturally to me, even though I love wine, food. I've been a winemaker. I could cook a pizza, but it's a lot more than that, isn't it? And
it's a lot more than that.
How has Orange risen to this juggernaut status in New South Wales and probably Australia? As what do you put it down to?
Well, it's close proximity to Sydney. You can get a flight here. You can drive 3.5 hours. It's a 25, 30-minute flight, and it's a beautiful town. It's very seasonal. It reminds me of Scotland. It's a food bowl, and it's lot's changed since I got here. Like Lolly Radini's isn't here anymore, but there's new players on the scene, and there's always, I think the scenery changes quite a lot with restaurants and bars, and it's exciting, but people just love coming here.
And we've got Canberra. Do you find we're getting people from Canberra and the Hunter as well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think we do. I think we're getting people from all around. I mean, the direct flights are great, but I don't think there's a direct flight from Canberra, but it's close. It's a great community, and I find it's full of people they've done what you and I have done. They've travelled the world, and they've seen a lot, and they've decided to make Orange their home where they're going to have kids, and it's a good place to be.
Absolutely. Good place to raise kids. So where do you see the future of hospitality in Orange, Jeremy? Obviously, you're opening another restaurant here at Quest, and there are people moving around in the space all the time. It seems like, even though we're talking about a cost of living crisis constantly these days, the world's politically in a bit of turmoil, but Orange just seems to keep pumping out great restaurants, cafes, wineries, and it doesn't seem to be too affected by the ups and downs of the market. Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Like, I feel like Orange is in a bubble, and it's the town that I was saying to Amy the other day. It feels like it's the town that just keeps on giving. Staffing I've found a little bit interesting over the last few years, but I think that's all feels like it's getting better.
That is a challenge in a regional hospitality business.
That's
Absolutely.
a challenge.
Getting good staff is what everybody says is the thing.
Yeah, and we find we have to pull a few staff from Sydney, and we've actually gone down the sponsorship road with a lot of our guys. Just we advertise locally, and we don't seem to attract many people. And I think, as you mentioned in a previous episode, I think maybe the first episode with Amy, you talked about the mining and the medical. And they're such big employers in this town that I think they absorb quite a lot of local people. So it makes it a bit tougher for us. But, I think Orange is great. We've just got to keep raising the bar, and, we want people to keep coming here. And I think it's just far enough away from Sydney and these bigger towns that they feel like they're going on a trip. Like maybe Wollongong's too close to Sydney, but Orange, they feel like they're actually getting away. They're having a great experience. Lots of wineries, cellars, great places to eat and stay. And, as long as we can keep trimming everything and making the bar a little bit higher every time, people will continue to come.
Bite Riot Orchards is proudly owned by the Hall family, third-generation growers here in Orange. From crisp, juicy apples to the sweetest summer cherries, Bite Riot produce isn't just enjoyed locally. It's exported across the world and featured in leading supermarkets like Harris Farm Markets. It's more than just fruit, it's family innovation and a commitment to showcasing the best growers from the Orange region. Bite Riot, proudly grown in Orange, shared with the world.
This week we have a bunch of stuff happening in Orange as usual. Orange District basketball finals are on starting this week. What was your sport as a kid?
Well, I wasn't really much of a team sportsman. I was right into windsurfing, and I loved it. I learned to actually windsurf at Wyangler, which
How awesome.
Which is great. But as I lived in Sydney and worked out what sea breezes were, and then moved to Perth, and that was one of the catalysts of me moving to Western Australia was the Fremantle Doctor. And wow, it is next level when you're on a slalom board flying across the waves in that wind. But
What a really cool sport.
great sport. Yeah.
This Sunday at the Naylor Pavilion, Sustainability Expo, which is fantastic. I mean, we're talking everything from, there's guest speakers, there's interactive displays. I believe there's all sorts of things, solar and batteries, climate change stuff.
We're heading along to that because we're in the throes of going off grid, which I'm very excited about. So we'll be going to do a bit of research there for sure.
Wednesday night, still a staple, Gillies Trivia at the Hotel Canobolas.
Yep.
I mean, this is as much an institution as Byng Street
Been
store.
going
This
for a
thing.
while, and he still fills all the seats.
Really interesting one happening this weekend out at Canoundra. Again, we talked about the villages and the great satellite trips. The Baroque Fest, which is a Baroque music festival from Friday to Sunday this weekend. It's actually, the musical director's a good mate of mine, Andrew Baker.
Okay.
We worked together at the Orange Con many years ago, and he, of course, has the Leatherwood bespoke rosin. He's come up with this amazing rosin that's being used by violin players all around the world. So,
Oh, wow.
So again, we spoke about the villages and getting out to the little satellites around Orange, and what an amazing thing to go to, the Baroque Fest. In a completely different vein, PBR bull riding at Wade Park this Saturday.
My wife Juliet and Monty are going to go to the bull riding festival. Monty's
Excellent.
pretty excited. Maggie was pretty keen to go along as well, but I'm taking her under my wing, and we're probably going to Sushi King for dinner together with my 6-year-old daughter, which I love doing.
Beautiful. And that just shows the diversity in Orange, I suppose, from Baroque music to literally the country kids getting out for a bull ride and watching those crazy guys.
I wonder if Scotty Peterson's going to ride again.
Oh, he'll be there for sure.
He'll be there for
If
sure.
he's not riding, he'll be watching, that's for sure. Another really cool one that might not be on people's radar, we have so much talent creatively in this town. There's a local author, Becky Plant, who's written a couple of books, and she's doing a book launch at Central West Libraries in Orange here on Saturday. Friends, it starts with hello. It's about a journey of friendship. So,
Excellent.
I mean, what a town to have. We've got musos, artists, authors,
Bull riders.
Baroque music.
What is Baroque music?
Well, that I know because I'm a muso, so it's the period from about 1600 through to 1750.
Okay.
So it's pre Beethoven and Mozart. So really, really awesome music. It's got a lot of energy and momentum. Baroque.
So
it's quite
we're
often.
talking fiddles and stuff, or what are we talking?
I don't think any of those guys would call it a fiddle. They'd call it a violin.
Okay,
but
right
yes, you're on the right track.
Yeah, okay.
There'll be a
Might
lot
go and
of
have a look.
of strings, I'd say.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Sounds like fun.
Well, Jeremy, thanks so much for coming in. It's been really good to unpack the person behind so many coffees. How many coffees do you reckon you've sold in Orange since 2009? Ballpark.
I reckon we sell about 1,000 a day.
Really? Wow.
So there's a few.
Fem and Courtney Hawke were credited with bringing the first espresso to Orange. They've got their name on the map for that.
100%.
But there's certainly more than one place to buy an espresso now.
I think Byng Street was the first place to be open on a Sunday,
Is that right?
and no one was doing public holidays either. So we went straight to 7 days, and there was a line around the corner on Sunday. It was like, wow. And then I think everyone followed suit pretty quickly.
Well, good for you. And, now we are a coffee and wine town.
We are.
It's been great to chat to you.
I bought you a hat, actually. I was meant to
Did
give
ya?
you that at the start, but I noticed you're wearing a pretty special beanie there. But keep wearing the beanie, but you can wear that down the street
That is
later.
beautiful.
Maybe. It's a good little hat.
I love it. Well, it's a really great logo. One thing you've always done well is your marketing, and that's a beautiful logo. Thank you so much for that.
Pleasure.
All right, good to have you, Jezza.
Thanks for having me.
So for all of you community groups, schools, businesses, and any other organisation that thinks it has a piece of newsworthy news for the Orange Juice, send us an email, news@theorangejuice.com.au. Cheers.